So there's no reason for you to believe me, but I helped edit a video for Sunless Con. The Sunless Con. Over 2 million subs on YouTube, Rule 1 org founder, and bona fide Rocket League legend, Sunless freaking Con. The titan of Rocket League content reached out to me to help him with a video. Now, I know what you're saying. How can a guy who's old and barely started a Rocket League channel in October and has less than 200 subs get an opportunity like this? I'll tell you how. This was insane, and I still can't really believe that it happened, but this is how it went down. Back in November, Rule 1 announced the creation of the Community Skills Directory, a resource where anyone could fill out their contact information and resumes to make themselves available to hire for projects. It's truly a brilliant, simple way to tap into the talent of the community and have a massive resource for anyone in the community to use. It's a manifestation of the mission of Rule 1 to be a Rocket League community-based esports organization, and it's awesome. Not thinking much of it at the moment, I filled out my information kind of flippantly, not thinking that it would lead to anything. Flash forward to December 23rd, by this time I had nearly forgotten that I had submitted my information on this form, and I got an email from an account that had this profile picture and this name. I thought that there was no way that the actual Sunless Con would reach out to me. Surely it had to be somebody who worked for him or maybe even a scammer. But then reading the message, it became pretty clear that it was the man himself. He found my information in the directory and wanted to know if I would be available to edit a video for him. He was unable to do it himself because he was feeling under the weather, as he himself pointed out in the video's comments, but needed it done in the next couple of days. My guess is I was probably pretty far down the list of the 30 plus other editors in the directory, and I just happened to be the one that said yes to working on a project over Christmas weekend. I mean, look at my info in there. Lackluster to say the least, especially compared with people like Kiddish, who's made content for the Air Force. Regardless, knowing that this was a huge opportunity that I couldn't pass up, I told him I was in. Then, like an idiot, I gave him my number and said, "Feel free to text me if you want to talk about more details." I panicked. I was on my way out the door and thought texting would be the best way to contact me since I had my phone with me, but you know what else is on my phone? This thing called Discord. I'm an idiot. In came his friend request and we set up a time for a call, and then this happened.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm! Stay calm!
On the call, he told me what he was looking for. He showed me the timeline of the video he was working on called 9 Unbelievable Challenges Created by Bored Rocket League Players, and what he had already done, including the voiceover and some of the visuals for a couple of sections of the video. What he needed from me was to go through the visuals he already recorded to use for the rest of the timeline, create a montage of that footage for the intro, record or find some cinematics to use for each map's intro, and find music that fits each map. I asked some questions for clarification and told him I'd have it to him by the end of the day on the 26th. Simple enough. Or so I thought. At 5 a.m. on Christmas Eve, I got to work scrubbing through the footage Sunless had already recorded to find scenes that matched the voiceover. This wasn't too hard, but the whole time I was second guessing my choices and really asking myself, WWSD, what would Sunless do? After all, this wasn't my video, it was his, and it was my job to make it look like that, and I've never really had to do that before. As I worked on each section, I picked the music that I thought best fit the mood of the script and the map. My personal favorite moment of the edit was the reveal of the enormity of the vent maze.
So I know what you're thinking. Why don't we just memorize the maze or take a picture and then run through? Well, this is why. It's huge and impossible.
The visual cue along with the drop in the music and the voiceover were perfectly timed, and I was stoked and loved that the moment made it to the final cut. At the end of the day, that moment may be overlooked by most viewers, but it was satisfying as hell to put it together. After 8 hours of work on Christmas Eve, I still needed a couple of music tracks for the last few maps, cinematics, and the intro. Then came the day after Christmas. 5 a.m., back in front of my computer to finish the job on time like I said I would. I finished up the music, ripped some cinematic footage from other YouTube videos, mainly those from Lethamir, and then recorded some cinematics of my own for Hardcore Parkour and the intro. What's hilarious is the amount of effort I put into getting something to use for the intro. I joined casual matches with the hopes that someone would leave the match so I could use it for this moment of the intro.
And when that happens, they will either leave or they will use the boredom to obsess over and perfect the simple game.
but no one was leaving. I didn't want to throw matches because I don't want to be that guy, and when we had teams buried, nobody would leave. So when I finally got a match where someone did leave mid-match, the rest of the gameplay was absolute trash, and I didn't have a lot of time to load in another replay to find a decent highlight to shoot. So I did the best with the lame goals and short time that I had to work with for the intro, and as you can see, it's pretty clear why Sunless just threw this all out and popped in clips from Psyonix's trailer for Season 9. With everything good to go, I threw on some titles with a mediocre font because I couldn't find something I thought he'd like that I could legally use in time, and after 18 hours of work, I sent my completed edit over to him. I gotta tell you, I was absolutely thrilled when he got back to me and he said that the music choices and shot selection were right on the money. Now, like the intro, he didn't keep everything I did, but that video is mostly edited by me, and I'm just stunned. During the progress, I kind of thought about asking him for a shout out or some kind of promotion for my channel, but I wanted to be as professional as possible and keep the door open for future work, potentially with him or with Rule 1, and I didn't want to come across as an opportunistic simp. Which, I mean, maybe making a video about this and fanboying all over him probably isn't going to help that anyway. Oh well. Look, I hope this doesn't come across as braggadocious. That's not my intent at all. This experience was just so improbable and amazing that I thought it was worth sharing to the few people who will see this. It was so funny to me how I kept overanalyzing everything I did and said during this process because of who I was interacting with. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he is the Rocket League YouTuber GOAT. I think it's pretty obvious that my channel is influenced by Sunless, so to have him reach out to me, an older dude who hasn't been playing the game for even 2 years and has less than 200 subscribers, a virtual nobody in the Rocket League world, it was pretty incredible. He was very professional but laid back and very organized. It was enlightening to get a peek behind the curtain of how this guy puts his content together. And even if this whole thing doesn't lead to more opportunities to work with the guy in the future, I am just so grateful that he reached out and that I said yes to the opportunity. It's one that I may not get again, and one that many won't ever get. He's such a chill dude, but works hard and is a consummate pro. He's someone I look up to as a content creator, and being able to work for him, even just for a couple of days, was simply awesome. So if you have something to offer to the Rocket League community, like graphic design, editing, casting, coaching, put your info in Rule 1's community directory. The link is in the description. Take it from me. You might get to work with someone as big as Sunless Con. You never know.
I did it.
I'm gonna put that in the video at the end.
Please don't.